Good morning, everybody. All right, today we have a cooking class. Cooking class, I'm going to be making something that's pretty simple, but it's kind of a two-part class. It won't take very long, because again, the recipe is really easy. But what I'm going to show you is it's going to be a dual class in that it's called mise en place and cleaning as you go. So mise en place again is getting everything in its place before you cook. So I have everything I need here for what I'm going to make for my breakfast. And then cleaning as you go, I'm just going to show you, how you can clean so that by the time you're done and you're ready to eat, that everything can be cleaned up, put away, and then you don't even have to worry about dishes after. And it's kind of the best way to clean. If you ever watch those cooking shows, a lot of times they'll, kind of like shout at people like, clean your station, clean your station. Well, that's kind of what you do want to do. We just don't want to yell at each other about it. Just kind of do it as you go. And I'll show you how I do it and that how easy it can be done. Because really, the more you get in practice of it, the easier it becomes. So what we're going to make today, it's a healthy breakfast. I'm just going to make some oats. They're a good source of fiber. They're really high in niacin, which is good for you, and iron, which is very good for you. And so, it's something that I have almost every morning. If I don't have the time, then I'll have some cereal, but this I like a little bit better. I do have some brown sugar that I add with it, and some almond milk to put on top at the very end. Okay, so here we go. What we got to do first is, I'll let you know the measurements. What you want is 1 cup of water and to half a cup of oats. So the big one's the water, so that's what we're going to do first. Fill up this with some water. And if you look outside today, it's a beautiful bay day. Oh, I can't really see, unfortunately. But it's raining out there. It's a nice rainy bay day. Okay, the good thing about this, now that I'm done, all I did was put water in it. So I can just put this right in the dish drain because that's it. I'm done with it. Again, we're cleaning as we go. Now, with the water, though, before you get it boiling, what you want to do is put some salt in there. So just a little bit of salt to salt the water for flavor. Not a lot. Just a little bit of salt. And you'll be able to taste that as it goes through. You don't want to salt it at the end because you might get really salty bites. Whereas when it mixes in with the water, then, it just kind of mixes through the whole thing evenly. And that's what you want to do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the oven and get the water to a boil. So I usually do mine at about 7, which is just above medium. I don't want to overboil it because what will happen is most of the water will evaporate off in that circumstance. And if it evaporates off, then what usually happens is you lose a lot of that water because it's just escaping into the air. And so what we're going to do is we're going to wait and we're going to let this come to a boil. And once it does, then we'll get started with the oats. And again, I like to have some brown sugar. Oh, I did forget one thing, a spoon. So we can do that as the water comes to a boil. So what you do is I just take some brown sugar. I take a nice little spoonful of brown sugar, a nice helping. Just a little bit. Can you see that? Just a little bit of brown sugar. I put that at the bottom of the bowl. I might do just a little bit more because I like the brown sugar. Then what I'm going to do is seal up the brown sugar. Wait for it to zip and pop. Zip. Pop. Make sure it's sealed all the way through. And then I'll just put this away. Again, as you go. So now as we see the water starting to come to a boil, so again, it's 1 cup of water. to half a cup of oats. I'm going to get my oats ready. Oops. See, this is again clean as we go, so I'll have to clean that up. Now you can't see it, but the water's got a nice medium boil on it. So then what I'm going to do is add my oats to the water. I'm going to turn down this from 7 to 4. And then what I'm going to do is put a lid on it. Now it's about 5 minutes that you want to wait, and then you're going to check it intermediately. Now with this, all that went in there was oats. A little bit of oats, so really this just needs to be rinsed out with water. Rinsed out, clean, and you're good to go. Put it in the dish drain. There are 2 dishes down. The oats are done. So we take the oats and we put them away in the place wherever you keep them. Mine's right over there. And then the last things I have are the milk. Now as you see, now I'm going to, well, in a moment, if you start to see it boil up under here, then you'll know that you want to stir it. In fact, I just check it every once in a while. See how it's doing, make sure, yep, just kind of stir everything in, make sure everything's even. There we go, and again it's at 4. Put the lid back on, and then we just kind of leave it to go that way. Alright, so what I need to do right now is clean up the oats that I spilled, so I'll just grab a paper towel. Cup. I hope you're all having a good morning. I'm going to be talking to y'all soon. It's a Monday. Alright, so my counter's clean. And again, like they say in the shows, you know, clean your station. You want to make sure that it's clean. Because it's just a way easier to actually clean as you go. Now again, this takes about 5 minutes. And then for the second part of the class today, what I'm going to do is I'll send out a quiz. And the quiz will be on the what's in oats, and so it'll be partially like what are some of the things that you really like about oats. And so what I'm going to do right now though, check, yep, boiling up. I want to make sure that, because sometimes it sticks to the bottom, and you don't want it to do that. These are looking good. I like mine a little watery. Some people like theirs cooked all the way through. But again, it'll be on oats and, just the properties that oats have, why they're good for you, things like that. And that's what we want out of our food, is to make sure that what we're eating is healthy. The most unhealthy thing in here is the sugar. But at the same time, it gives it that wonderful flavor. And especially brown sugar. I don't use white sugar for much anymore. When I was a kid, I used to, whenever I'd have a bowl of cereal, I used to dump a bunch of sugar on it. But that's the way I was taught. It's probably not the best way. Now you see this steam rising up? Well, if you do, what you want to do is then stir again. Because sometimes it'll boil up. And these are actually looking good. I think they're done. So I went not quite 5 minutes. Now I'm going to put the lid in the sink. Turn off the oven. But like I said, I stopped doing that because now it's just too sweet for me. I'm going to take my oats, but this brown sugar, it's good. And it's kind of like fruit on the top. So what you do is you put the oats right on top of the brown sugar. There we go. I'm going to get as much of this as possible. Now what I do with pans while they're hot is just get it to soak for a bit. Just a little bit of soap at the bottom. And you're good. And then I got myself my oats. Then what I'm going to do, like I said, it's like fruit on the bottom. So when I'm done with this, and I'm ready to eat, but right now it needs to cool down. But when I'm done with this, it's just like the fruit on the bottom yogurt. So what you do is, just when you're ready, just kind of mix everything around and just kind of get that fruit, and in this case brown sugar, just all mixed in all around, and then with each bite you have a nice taste of brown sugar, as well as with the sweetness and the creaminess of the milk. Now I use almond milk. You can use whatever kind of milk you choose. Put the milk away. Alright, now here's the next part of the class, which won't take very long at all. So I'm going to move the camera over here so you can see. So all I'm going to do is come over to my sink, and I'm going to take my pot that I used, and I'm going to clean it out. What I usually do is I'll put a little bit of this in here, get my water to hot, then I'll take a little bit more and put some on my scrubber brush. So I got my scrubber brush, and I'll just put a little bit of that in there. And what this does is it gives you two soak sides. Then I'm going to fill this up and let it soak for just a bit with water, so that some of the stuff that gets stuck to the bottom it'll be easier to actually get it out. But then as I'm doing that, I'll just clean off the lid with my soapy scrubber. Get that nice and cleaned off. Put that in the dish drain or in the dishwasher, depending on what you have. Then I'm just going to go ahead, clean out this. And since it's just fresh, these oats aren't going to stick very much to the bottom. So everything should come out really easily. And it is. And I'll show you. I should have showed you that before. But there were oats stuck for sure. And then clean off the sides of it. Want to make sure we get everything nice and clean. That away. Then you got yourself a nice clean pan. Go right in the dish drain. And now, what I get to do is go and enjoy my breakfast. Because it's ready to go. It's cooled down. Actually, there's one more thing I need to wash. I use this for my spoon. It's just a little spoon dish, so that you're not setting your spoon down. Oh, and I also spilled a little bit of water here. So we'll clean up our station. And this really just needs to be rinsed out, maybe a little scrubbed through. And then voila. Still a clean kitchen. All I gotta do after is eat this, wash my bowl, wash my spoon. That I don't need to show you, because I basically showed you the way I do everything. But anyway, I hope this class was informative. If you have any questions, feel free to always ask me. I miss you all. Can't wait to get back to program when we can do some of these classes in person. Alright, ciao for now.